All right. Okay. Hey guys, there we go. We're going to do a little flow here for our hips. Okay. Hips and low back. So get a chair or something that you can have just for a little bit of support. This isn't going to necessarily make it easier, as holding onto something here might help you get into more of these hip motions. We're going to do these, test these before and after our little hip flow sequence. So shift your weight into, I've got my weight shifting into my left leg. I've got something supporting my left hand. Lift your right leg up. Turn your knee out. And then sweep, trying to keep that knee turned out. Sweep the leg out to the side, trying to keep hips square. And once we get to this side, we're going to sweep it back into this kick position without arching the back. And then bring it down. We're going to go backwards. So I think this way is easier. Kick like a donkey kick. Try not to arch the back, but keep your leg back out behind you. Knee at 90 degrees. And then from the hip, sweep it out to the side. So we're keeping that bend in the knee. Woo, and then it comes back to that starting position and then down. You feel that? That was nice and slow. Switch sides, nice and slow on the other side, forward and backwards, different angle. So I lift up to the front first, everything's 90-90, and then my knee tips out. Knee out, foot in, and then with that external, or really internal rotation, I'm sweeping it out and around, oy, sticky. And then down. Take it back. Out to the side, back to the middle. Okay, go through that 2 more times on each side, a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. We're just warming this up, seeing one, what kind of range of motion do we have off the bat? Where are the sticky points? And maybe where are the, let's be honest, where are the painful points? Where are things really trying to talk to us? Mine feel a little crunchy. All right, we're gonna retest that when we get done with our little flow here. I'm gonna move the camera down. We're gonna do a hip flow. Come into a child's pose just to warm up our breath. Feet together, knees wide, arms stretching out in front of us. 5 big deep breaths here. Settle in, wiggle what needs to be wiggled. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So you're getting these big, deep inhales and deep exhales. Really trying to warm up that diaphragm. So make that muscle that expands your lungs go all the way down and all the way up. Five of those, slowly walk your hands back. Okay, from a tabletop, we are going to do a couple rock backs. So mobility here, movement here depends on stability in our low back. Our lat muscle is a secondary stabilizer. So I want you to imagine from this all fours position that you're squeezing a piece of paper in between your armpits. So we're trying to hold onto that piece of paper. You feel that engage the muscles in your back and maybe even your core. Squeeze here and shift your hips back towards your heels, just as far as you can go until you feel like If I had that piece of paper there, it would be gone. I would lose it. Let's do 5 of these, nice and slow. Big belly breath in, squeeze that piece of paper, and then rock back. Maybe one more. Okay. Same thing now, but our attention is going to shift from the squeeze of the armpits to the stretch in the inner thigh. So I'm going to kick my right leg out to the side, straighten it. My foot, which is out of frame, can be flat, which will be a different kind of stretch through my inner thigh, or I can have my ankle, like big toe, inner arch, knife edge on the ground. Play around with that. Different sensations, different things getting stretched up through the inner thigh into the pelvic floor. We're going to rock back 5 on this side. Not necessarily holding on to that piece of paper anymore in between our armpits. Just trying to get some more motion. Big belly breath in, though, before you rock it back. So our abdomen is full of air and a little bit of pressure. Just a little bit. Just the pressure from the inhale as we rock back. It's not necessarily about getting your heel or your butt to your heel. Just going as far as you can until you feel like you have to compromise your core. So do about 5 on that side. Walk that foot back in, leg back in, straighten the left. We're going to revisit this on each side again. So if you have chosen a foot position, my foot is flat. I can also go knife edge here. We're going to have time to play around with both. 5. Nice and slow. Inhaling before you move. Keep, oh, my shoulders keep creeping up towards my ears. Actively think about pulling those back. Right, the left side is definitely tighter than my right. We're going to come back to the original side you started on. Mine was my right leg kicked out to the side. If I'm a clock and I'm looking 12 o'clock, if my head is 12 o'clock, my leg right now, my right leg is out to about 3:10. I'm not quite up at 90 degrees. Anywhere between 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. If your hips are really, really tight, maybe your leg is just kicked back out to about 5 o'clock. Okay. 6 o'clock would be right back out behind me. 5, 4, 3. Doesn't have to be right at 3 o'clock. Maybe 5 more rock backs, maybe playing around with different foot positioning than when I started. And then we're switching to the other side. Whew. Good. That second time probably felt a little different than the first. Okay. Kick each leg out back behind you and shake it out. One at a time, obviously. Shake out some of that energy. Okay. We're going to transition onto our back. We're going to do some seated or laying pigeons to start. Deepen our breath. So I'm going to make my way onto my back.
Ooh, okay, maybe from here, a good morning stretch. Move how you need to. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll out your low back a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is send the legs up into the air. Give your ankles some circles. Some blood flow into our hips and our core. Maybe do some knee bends and ankle circles. Take your right leg is going to stay straight-ish for a moment. Your left ankle is going to come and cross over the knee. My left ankle is going to cross over in front of my right knee. If that's not possible here, then I just want to grab my ankle, my left ankle, and pull it in and push my knee away. Yeah, you can see that. If I'm adding the other leg in, I'm using my right thigh to support my ankle so I can loop my hands through and grab onto that leg. Now notice when I do that, my head pops up. I have to go into a crunch. And if I lay my head back, it's not quite comfortable yet. So back of my left hip needs some serious stretching. I'm just gonna hold on to my leg itself, my left leg itself. I'm gonna drop that right leg down to the ground. Knee bent. I'm pushing my left knee away from me. Settle into whatever position feels right for now. We're gonna deepen this. We have a chance to revisit this. Take 3 big, deep belly breaths. On your exhales, when we do kind of deep stretching, you have an opportunity to deepen the stretch, not necessarily moving deeper or moving or progressing in any kind of positioning, but you should feel kind of a surrendering, relaxing is not the right word, a surrendering to that motion. Feel your muscles, tendons, ligaments just kind of melt a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. We've done 3 on that side. Might need to stop in the middle and shake some things out. So we're going to pull your right ankle in towards your left shoulder. Kind of crossing, so crossed. My right knee now is getting pushed down towards away from me. And if I can, cross it and use my left knee for thigh for that support. Great. I can loop through. But if getting your head back down on the ground seems like you're straining, then just grab onto that ankle. Push your knee away from you. Big breaths. Good, and then slowly drop that down. Feet come together, knees nice and wide. Like a deep butterfly. Or you can stay in kind of this deep squat, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Let's check in with our core and our diaphragm. So use your fingers to do a little fascial release, self-massage scan here of your core. And I go in some big clockwise circles. We're finding any points of tension, any tender spots. When things hurt in the back or on any side, oftentimes we need to look to the opposite sides. We need to look to the front. After some belly work, belly massage, take a big breath in, exhale it all out. Nice big stretch, or move how you feel like you need to move now. Very good. While we're here, while we're down on the floor on our backs, one last thing here. Knees bent up now, feet flat on the floor. Our hands are going to come into a goalpost position. So we're going to do a couple floor angels. So I can have my arms straight out to the side, making a T shape, or if I have the mobility, I'm going to bring my arms into a U or a W, football touchdown goalpost. Go Dogs. And I'm going to try to do some floor angels. So floor angels can literally look like snow angels, where I'm keeping my forearms and my wrists and my elbows on the floor, and I'm going up and down like a snow angel. Or if I'm in the goalpost position, I'm straightening my arms up overhead, touch down, and bringing them back down to that goalpost position. Give me about 10 of these. You should feel this stretching your chest and your pecs. So our hips, as everybody should know by now, hips are connected to everything. Everything affects everything. And so we may be feeling tightness in our hips, but might not be where it's coming from. Tightness up in the front and in the chest. Oh, it can cause some neck pain and definitely hip pain. About 10 of those. When you're done, roll to a side. No crunches here. Roll to a side and then push yourself up. We're going to do some shin box movements. So when you sit up from the side, your legs may naturally kind of go into this zigzag. Yeah. So we're going to warm this up with just some gentle movement and some kickstand or windshield wipers, using your hands to support you out to the sides or back behind you. I've got my right foot knee bent and it's out in front of me. I've got my left one out to the side. We're going to move this one first. So that knee lifts up, got my hands to support me, and I'm just going to switch sides. This is gentle. Leg out to the side moves and swaps. Take a moment there to pause and breathe. And switch to the other side. We do about 20 of these total, 10 on each side. Feel free to add in what I just did, kind of when I'm up in this last position, a twist. So I've got my left leg in front. I can add this kind of gentle twist over to the left. A little bit of rotation. I want to really exaggerate that. I can even come up. I actually like that a lot. Let's try that. I don't think we've done that before. Yeah, so it's not quite the full. Sometimes we come up into a hip extension in these lumbars or in these shin box flows. I can use, I've got, and this is the best angle for you to see, I've got my left leg out in front. My right leg is out to the side. I'm kickstanding with my left hand, my right arm. So it's like I've come into this position, I rotate, I kickstand my left hand, my right arm reaches up and my hips press open. Ooh, that's a good stretch. So we can kind of flow with this. This should feel good and fluid and hip opening. So I'm creating this kind of line. Yeah. All the way up. There you go. Stretch in the front. This one you have to use your hands to support you on the ground. That's not always having a hand down for support is the easier version. What? Good. We like those? How'd those feel? Like them a lot? Yeah. I like those a lot too. All right. Let's see where we're at time-wise. Cool. All right. So let's see. Come back to all fours. And we're going to kick the right leg out to the into our like kickstand position, not kickstand position, tabletop. So my right foot is going to come outside of the plane of my right hand. I'm not trying to be a hero. It's nowhere near my hand. It's off the mat and it's out to the side. Okay. Whew. Pull your knee, figuratively, not literally. Pull your knee and imagine your femur bone being pulled into your hip. This may shift your hips a little bit. So the tendency if hips are tight is when I'm in this position is to lean forward or rock forward and be opening into the left hip. If my right foot's down on the ground, my focus is on my right hip. Tenting the fingertips can be very helpful here. We're not flat palm. Give yourself a little bit more space. And then pull that femur into its socket. Will you feel that? Mm-hmm. Big deep breaths here. And then let's add in between those big breaths. Inhale, exhale, reach that right arm and twist it open to the ceiling. Maybe hold that for a couple breaths while still trying to pull this knee and femur into its socket, squaring the hips. Exhale as we twist and open farther. Maybe we're looking up at the ceiling, up at our fingers, and then slowly lower that back down. Revisiting this position for a couple breaths before we switch. Maybe shake that leg up if it needs. To the left side. Leg comes up and around, foot is flat on the ground. Get that tension out of the shoulders. Pulling my knee and my femur in towards its socket. Big deep belly breaths. On your next inhale, let's add a twist. Open to the left. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. We hang out here for a few breaths. Still trying to pull the hip in, square the hips. Add in some motion here if we want to do this as a rep. down, and up. We're not dumping into that hip. Let's revisit each side one more time. In between that leg shake. Sweep. Got a little bit more motion here. I feel like I can get my leg up a little bit farther. Trying to sink into that hip and flatten the low back. You can even, we go up and twist and come back down. Maybe play around with sinking that elbow lower than the hip. So we're here. What does this feel like if I sink? Whew. And then reach up and stretch. Switch. Shake it out. Always give your body what it needs. Movement is your conversation with your body. You gotta listen to it. You don't have to do exactly what I tell you to do. You don't have to do exactly what the class is telling you to do. The teacher, instructor, whomever. Shake that leg out. When we are done. Good. Okay, cool. How are we feeling? Good. Yeah. Okay, let's check our hip, what we call hip cars. The things we did when we were first starting out. So let's stand back up, grab that chair. Shake things out. Some things moving. Okay. Weight shifts into the left leg and lift the right leg up in front of me. Everything's at 90-90. And then I'm going to tip it. So I'm going to come into that more of a ballerina position. Trying to sweep my hip out to the side without having my right hip out to the side, without having my left hip follow it. So I'm trying to keep things square and then shift it back behind me and then down. Reverse it. So donkey kick it back up behind you, then shift, swoop to the side and then out in front. Mine's not significantly different, just so you know. It feels different. Maybe a little smoother. Let's do 3 on each side. I'm on my 3rd. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Your hip's going to move differently depending on what condition your hip is in today. Okay, so last side, now I'm on my left side. Just sweep it up, tip that knee out, foot in. Try to move it out to the side as far as I can. I feel a little crunching there, and then out to the back. 3 of those. Some different stuff for a nice little hip opening flow this morning.